Introduced in 2014, the Maruti Suzuki Celerio was a go-to choice for those, after the WagonR, who wanted a no-fuss, sensible family hatchback that was easy on your pocket and could drive around your family in relative comfort and ease. Maruti might not have sold it in huge numbers as it might have wanted, but the Celerio had its fair share of demand and sold close to 6 lakh units in the period it was available. Now it's 2021 and, well, the end of it, and this is the new second generation Celerio. The USP of the first gen Celerio was it was the first car to introduce the AMT in India. Now the new gen Celerio, it moves to a newer platform and introduce an all-new engine of the K series family, which claims to be the most fuel-efficient one in the country. Now, is it any good? Well, we are here in Udaipur to find out.
Before that, do remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss an update from the CarWale channel. Based on the 5th generation hardtech platform, which is shared with the Baleno, Swift, WagonR, the new Celerio is 55 mm wider than the outgoing model, with a wheelbase going up by 10 mm. Meanwhile, the overall height is down by 5 mm and the overall length remains unchanged. Here is how it stacks up against its rivals, the Hyundai Santro and the Tata Tiago in terms of numbers.
Now in terms of design, the new Celerio is easy on the eyes as the previous one was. If you look closely, there's this new chrome slat grille which connects this rather bulbous looking headlamps. Now there's no LED or DRL game here, it's just old simple halogens. But you do get a fog lamps here, circular fog lamps that's well integrated into this black grille. And move to the sides, this new 15-inch black alloy wheels rather look very well with this tall boyish stance of the new Celerio. And at the back, again, there's no real drama. It's all plain, simple looking design with this simple halogen bulb for the tail lamp. There's no, again, LED or DRLs here. But this simple characteristic line, it really looks nice.
Overall, the Celerio design is more rounded off and has no edgy elements. The squarish and angular design of the first gen is replaced by smooth flowing lines and the absence of any sharp creases. It takes some elements from the various Maruti models and blends them into a well-rounded dough. Maruti has managed to keep the Celerio's design inoffensive and buyers won't be hesitant seeing it parked outside their houses. What are your thoughts about the design of the new Celerio? Let us know in the comments below.
Now on the inside, the cabin of the new gen Celerio is an all-black affair, which is a good departure from the boring black and beige. You do, however, get some silver inserts around the center console, around the air vents, on the steering wheel and around the gear knob. And in terms of practicality, there's space here for your knickknacks or your wallet, a couple of cup holders, a glove box and a bottle holder on the door. Now in terms of space, I'm 5.5 and there's good amount of headroom for my size. But taller drivers might not find it difficult to find an ideal position because there is height adjustment for the seat and a tilt steering. Now these seats, they are more similar to the WagonR and they offer good amount of support on the side, and even though they don't have adjustment for the headrest, it's pretty comfortable.
Most of the cabin is carried over from the WagonR, like the steering wheel, instrument cluster and the 7-inch touchscreen unit. In fact, the placement of the head unit of this multimedia screen too is at the same quirky height. Quality of material used all around isn't something to complain about, but if we were to nitpick, it would be the placement of window switches and central locking on the center console below the touchscreen and not on the door. Many buyers won't mind, but it's the fact that even the WagonR gets conventional switches gets our goat.
As for the second row, getting inside is quite comfortable thanks to this wide door opening, so older people and children will find it quite easy to get in. Once inside, there's a decent amount of knee room here for my size, especially with the front seat set to my driving position, and there's good amount of headroom as well. But what I think is a larger under thigh support and a bigger backrest would have made a huge difference. On the flip side, there's no adjustable or foldable armrest here, there's no AC vents, and the back bench is, I think, best suited for two.
As for the boot, at 313 liters, it's larger than before. To give you a perspective, the current Vitara Brezza is just 15 liters more than this. There's a 60-40 split seat in higher trims, which is a nice addition. You can easily haul long weekend luggage for 4 over here. Or there will be more room to spare when a CNG tank will take up most of this space. The new Celerio is offered across familiar LXI, VXI and ZXI trims, with the ZXI Plus joining the lineup. Standard features across the range includes dual front airbags, ABS, rear parking sensor, child lock for rear doors and manual AC. What we are driving here is the top spec ZXI Plus, the feature list of which includes a 7-inch Smart Play Studio touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, with 4 speakers, steering mounted control, height adjustable driver seat, engine start stop button, keyless entry, electric adjustment and foldable ORVMs, tachometer and a front fog lamps. Of the things it misses out, we think the rear camera and rear AC vents are the most important ones. There are customizable packs that can be opted with additional accessories for some personalization touches.
We had expected the peppy 1.2 litre from the Swift and the WagonR to make its way into the new gen Celerio. After all, the new hardtech platform does allow it. But instead, Maruti Suzuki has decided to introduce a new engine from the K-Series family. This one is called the K10C, and it is a 3-cylinder dual-jet dual VVT engine which has been on sale internationally. But in India, it does get a segment-first auto start-stop function. Now it produces 66 bhp of power and 89 Nm of torque. That's 1 bhp and 1 Nm less than the previous K10 series engine. But it's also a lighter car, tipping the scale at around 800 to 825 kgs.
It does feel refined and vibration-free on idling, especially for a 3-cylinder. On the move, the power delivery from this new engine is progressive and linear. The clutch is light to operate and the gear lever, in a typical Maruti fashion, has smooth and short throws. At slow city speeds, the engine proves to be very user-friendly. Thanks to the strong low and mid-range, you can either shift close to 1200 rpm or hold it until 3 to 4000 rpm and the engine still feels relaxed and unstrained. There are many little improvements gone into this K10C which makes it very easy to drive. At highway speeds, the motor is relaxingly churning around 2000 to 3000 rpm. Also, the insulation inside the cabin at highway speed is better than we expected. There's a dead pedal provided to rest your left foot, and that's a welcome addition.
Now we have also sampled the AMT version of the K10C engine. Now let's see how that is to drive.
The AMT technology has come a long way since its introduction. Now in the new Celerio, the 5-speed AMT wants to shift close to 2000 rpm. Surprisingly, when using a light throttle inputs under sedate driving, the upshifts are almost free of jerks usually associated with an AMT gearbox. It is only when you hurry it, the AMT finds itself undecided on what action needs to be taken. So you will have to plan your overtakes well in advance. Meanwhile, when given some beans, the AMT will hold on to a gear up to the red line before upshifting. For some enthusiastic driving, there's also a provision for manual shifting. The AMT version is available across all variants of the Celerio except the base LXI, and we think it surely is worth the extra premium over its manual counterpart. In terms of ride quality, the new Celerio manages to absorb all the bumps, potholes and irregularities with good composure. Only the sharpest of creases or abrupt road imperfections are felt as well as heard inside the cabin. Moreover, the higher ground clearance also adds to a sense of relief when tackling bad road sections. And when the road ceases to exist, the Celerio soldiers on without any bother. A suitable hatchback for city and rural landscape alike. There's fair amount of body roll when pushed hard, but this is not a car you go corner carving in. Going almost 4 locks turn to turn, the steering in the new Celerio isn't the quickest, but the steering wheel is light to operate and won't be troublesome for those who spend longer hours in traffic. It isn't self-centering or linear either, but how does it fare in a day-to-day driving? We'll have to wait for a full-fledged road test to find an answer to that. Pricing for the new-gen Maruti Suzuki Celerio starts at Rs 4.99 lakh and goes all the way up to Rs 6.94 lakh ex-showroom for the top-spec AMT. It might have gotten a lot expensive than the outgoing Celerio, but it still is on par with its direct rivals, which includes the Hyundai Santro, Tata Tiago, Datsun Go, and its very own sibling, the Maruti Suzuki WagonR.
So does the new Celerio has the same charm as its predecessor in this fiercely fought high volume budget segment? Well, it certainly does. Now there's a CNG version coming and we'll have to wait a bit longer for that, but we think it would be more popular than this most fuel efficient engine. And we'll be testing this most fuel efficient engine in our future road test. So do look out for that.
Until then, the Celerio makes for a good first car as well as a convenient runabout because it is genuinely well-rounded compact hatchback that's easy and convenient to drive, has a practical cabin with space for 4 and their luggages, a decent list of features, and will easily and comfortably take your family around town without burning a hole in your pocket.